Hi there. In this video, I will explain how you add monthly recurring expenses to your umbrella account. First of all, there's two kinds of expenses you can add in umbrella. There's one-off expenses like buying a train ticket, buying a bike, something you don't do that frequently. And on the other hand, there are monthly recurring expenses. Examples are your monthly expense for your bike lease or your rent or your mortgage. So something that happens on a monthly basis. Therefore, we have the possibility to add a monthly recurring expense. That means that you only have to put in the information about the expense once, and from then on, the expense will be repeated on an automatic basis without you having to do anything anymore. How do we do this? We go to the expenses page on the left, and we go to the subpage monthly expenses. Here we will have the possibility to add a monthly expense by clicking on the right, on the button in the upper right corner or in the middle of the page. When we click on it, there's a form that will appear, and here we give all of the information that is being asked. So in this case, I want to get my rent paid back with my legal mobility budget, for example, so I give it the title rent. I'm using my legal mobility budget, and as category, I can choose housing rent. For the amount, you have multiple options. So either you say that you have a monthly budget of 500 euros and you want to spend half on your rent and half on mobility options, then you only put 250 as an amount. If your budget is big enough to get your whole rent reimbursed every month, then you can put your whole budget, your whole monthly budget there. But you're always, of course, limited to your own monthly budget. And of course, you can also not go beyond what you're paying for rent. So if your rent is 750 euros and your budget is 750 euros, feel free to add 750, but never more than that, because your budget doesn't go beyond 750. And you also don't pay more for housing, so you are not, you cannot get reimbursed for more than that. In this case, I just want to get paid back 250 euros so that I have a lot of budget left for other things as well. And then you have the option to add a first execution date and a last execution date. What I always advise is to put this on the first of the month. Of course, if your rent is only starting, your new rental contract is only starting on the 15th of the month, you should put the 15th. But let's say we're already renting, we're new to the mobility budget, then I would always advise to put it on the first day of the month. Why? That means that every next month, the expense will appear on the first of the month, meaning that the admin has more than enough time to look at the expense, to approve the expense, so that it will be taken into account for the next payroll. If we only let the expense appear as of the 25th, maybe payroll has already happened and you have to wait another month. And then for the last execution date, it depends a bit on the situation. For example, you're renting, you don't know when your last month at that place will be, so there's not really a last date that you can add, so you can just leave it open. For a mortgage, the last date of paying back your mortgage might be far away in the future. So it's a little bit up to you. Do you want to add it or not? It's possible, but it's not mandatory. A comment is not mandatory as well. However, it can be a good idea in the case that you're, for example, co-housing. If you are co-housing with two people, but you are paying more than half of the rent because you have a bigger room and a private bathroom, for example, and then it's interesting to put that as a comment so that the admin knows why you're asking more than half of the amount that is visible in the rental contract that you will add. So just giving all of the information that will help to get your expense approved as easily and as fast as possible is always a good idea. What is definitely mandatory is uploading a justification document, and this depends again on what you are adding as an expense. In case of rent, it's your rental contract. In case of your mortgage, it's an amortization table. Most importantly, the document needs to contain your name and the amount of money that you're paying, so that the admin can check if you're not asking more than what you're paying, and that the period is also correct. So you add that as well. I will do that now. Voila. And then we have the option to click on save and add another monthly expense. Then a new form will automatically pop up. Or if this is the only monthly expense we want to add, we just click on save and we will see that it will appear here as an active monthly recurring expense. It has executed once, 1st of April, and we can also always edit the expense when clicking on actions and edit. You can also deactivate it, for example, if you don't have a right to the mobility budget for a certain period, then you can deactivate it for 2 or 3 months, for example. So good to know as well. And then if we go back to the all expenses page, we will see that it is added here. Monthly recurring expenses will always be shown, will be indicated with a little clock symbol. So that's also good to know, but their status can always be looked at here in the all expenses page. And that's how you add monthly recurring expenses.